Okay everyone, welcome back to the layout in a very long overdue part 11B of our advanced DCC series. In part 11A we took apart the Athearn Genesis SD70ACe and we removed the stock light board and put in the 165AO decoder for the Athearn locomotive. We reconnected our track power in the four corners. I haven't done the reverse or forward headlight yet. I also put in a Digitrax circle speaker, 1-inch speaker in here, and I also filled in the back with a piece of styrene to cover the hole in the back. I'm sure you guys have seen online there was some issues with the sound in this locomotive. And I started to talk about the different pads that are on this decoder. There's a number of them, but the ones we're going to talk about today are these first two pads, but there's four of them here, and this front pad here. I've already tinned them so they appear a little bit different color here in the camera. Now these pads represent the different wires, like in the harness that comes in with a lot of decoders for Digitrax. The same wires here, as well as the same wires here. They represent the different colors respectively. For example, this bottom one here, which is function F1, represents the green wire. The second one, which represents function 2, is also the violet wire. The third one is brown, and the fourth one I believe is yellow off the top of my head. You also can see this here in the Digitrax manual for this decoder. Again, 1, 2, 3, and 4, green, violet, brown, and yellow. And that also be used for programming. And then this one here is the positive common, which is the blue wire. Okay, what we're doing today is the ditch lights. The ditch lights that came with the locomotive were very dim, and I ended up burning one of them out trying to correct it, so I figured I would just replace them with LEDs since I was going to replace them anyway. I have a simplified diagram here. I know I'm not using the correct electrical symbols, but just to give you guys an idea of what I'm doing. Two LEDs represent the ditch lights that are going in here. The actual LEDs obviously are a lot smaller. Actually, they're very small to the point where you can't even really see them. So this shows what I'm doing a little bit easier. But on a LED, there's an anode end, which is positive, and a cathode end, which is negative. The positive end is longer than the negative side of the LED. So what I've done is I've put the two positives next to each other and the two negatives on the outside. For each negative, I've put in a 640 ohm quarter watt resistor for each LED, and I've simply married up the two positives to go out. And what I've done is I've added extension wires to each of them. Each wire I've used the same color as what's used on the decoder. Like I mentioned before, F1, or the first pad, is green, so I used the green wire. The common positive is a blue, so I used the blue wire, and the violet for the other side of it, which is F2. It's not necessary, you can use whatever color you want, but I just wanted to keep all the colors the same. Okay, I picked up some LEDs from Ulrich Models online, recommended to me from Flyman JG and NS Model 24. Thank you very much. These LEDs are quite tiny and very cool. They work really well. They're a few dollars a piece. I've done a little bit of prep work to this, which I'll get to in just a moment. But aside from LEDs, I've also got some 640 ohm quarter watt resistors. And to show how this works, I've basically set up a little bit larger example here because Again, as cool as those little LEDs are, they're kind of hard to show on camera here. But there's two leads on an LED, a longer one and a shorter one. The longer one is anode, which is the positive part of the circuit, or diode, and the shorter one is the cathode, or negative side. And when you wire your LED up, you want to make sure the correct wire goes with the correct side of the LED, or they will burn up and short out and be toast. You'll have to get new LEDs. So I've done that here. I know again it's difficult to see, but the shorter side has the 640 ohm resistor on it, and I've also placed another lead on here, this one being green because it's going to go on the green part of the board here. And on the other side of it, I've soldered on a blue extension, and the blue is going to go here for the positive common, or blue wire part of the circuit. And once I do this, I'm going to wire up the second LED the same way. I already got the resistor on there on the cathode side, or the short side, negative side, function side of the decoder, and I'm going to take the other wire here, and I'm also going to wire it in, to the blue here, and I probably also throw some heat shrink tubing on there to close everything off in the circuit, make sure everything is nice and tight and nothing is going to short each other out, wires hitting other wires, etc. But in the end, that'll give us two LEDs, one lead sharing the blue, and the other side of each LED, one green and one violet, being soldered into the board respectively for the green and violet pads here. Okay, I'm doing a little bit of a bench test, and it looks like everything's working fine. I'm going to hit F2 here real quick, and as you can see, they are oscillating. I know the oscillating ditch lights in this locomotive aren't prototypical, but since I'm redoing them, I might as well make it so that I can have them oscillate if I want them to. Otherwise, as you can see, the green wire is on the first pad, the violet wire is on the second pad, and the blue common positive is in that pad there up toward the front and the middle. I'm not sure how well the camera's picking up the colors, but that's the wires that are there, and the color wires that represent each pad are also there. I've thrown some heat shrink tubing on there. I need to shrink them a little bit further so they stick well, with this just to protect the resistor as well as the solder connection for each wire that's there. And what's next is I'll need to get probably some brass ditch lights or ditch light housings to go up in the front there. When I removed the old ones, the old light bulbs came with them. I got some new ones from Athearn. I asked them for ditch light housings, but they gave me the ditch light housings with the light bulbs inside, so since I wanted to use LEDs, that didn't help me much. I'll have to get some brass ditch light housings to put in there. I'll probably also put in some LEDs there for the headlight as well, and then we can put her back together. The only other thing that's not done is I will need to install the Digitrax SFX004 sound bug at the rear of the board, just like I've done in a lot of my other videos, and hook up the orange and gray speaker wire, and we're on to programming from there.